Can you just give me, you were involved in the deliberations on amending this bill.
Right.
Give me an idea of some of the main things you guys did to change it.
Okay, so a couple of the major points. One, you can no longer basically be put in prison for striking. That's huge. The safety forces can bargain for their safety equipment. That could be included. While the final decision still rests with the legislative authority, there is an option for a referendum, and that's defined also. There's two criteria. One is the legislative authority had to have selected the more expensive of the two contracts, and the CFO cannot or will not basically certify that the money's in place. They can do this without future revenue. So those are some three major changes. They did change, or we did change all of the words merit to performance. And
Why do that?
Well, if you think about it, merit can imply something that you already have and that's existing. Performance truly gets at the heart of what a person does on their job. How do you perform? So I think both words were good, but I think performance is even a little bit more accurate, meaning you perform, you do well, you will get rewarded. So to me, people that are high performers on the job should be really excited by Senate Bill 5 because the high performers will be rewarded, as they should be.
So, citations not a measure of performance.
Citations
that's in there.
is no longer a measure of performance. There are also some components. We talked about the unions, for example. Now, instead of 50% in order to decertify a union, it's only 30%. So that's quite a decrease. Fair share.
Explain the fair share. Is that right to work? I mean, is that essentially what that is?
Basically, when you combine, there's two things in the bill. One, a person is not forced to join a union, so you take that and combine it with this fair share piece, which says, okay, if you're not part of the union, you don't have to pay your fair share to the union. That is, all intents and purposes, right to work for public employees.
What are they paying now for fair share? Is that negotiated? Any idea?
I don't know. It might even be specific for.
But it sounded like unions could negotiate in their contract that these provisions no longer cover anybody who's not in the union not paying fair share. Is that my understanding?
That's absolutely right.
Okay.
And it should be that way.
What do you think of the final bill? You must support it.
I definitely do. I think it was a good bill when it came from the Senate. I think these changes have made it even a better bill, a stronger bill. I think the taxpayers of Ohio should be very excited by this. We're giving the local schools, local municipalities the tools that many of them have been asking for to manage their own costs, because as you saw in the governor's budget, we've got some cost cuts that are coming down the pike, like the local government fund, for example. And so we're saying, okay, listen, the money's not there, we can't give it to you, sorry, but at least here we can help you, give you the tools that'll help you manage your costs. So to me, it's good news. I mean, change is hard. We heard the folks, in the auditorium and around, change is difficult, and particularly for people that have never been judged on for their performance before, which is true about the public sector in many cases. I spoke to some teachers and they're like, this is terrible. I'm like, well, no, it's not. If you're a good teacher and you perform well, you're going to actually, once you get used to it, you're going to love this.
Do you have any concerns for local governments? If this goes to the ballot, it postpones the provisions until after the election. Does that put them in a bind budget-wise?
I mean, personally, I would love to see this happen sooner than later. I know of many municipalities and school districts, even within the 42nd district where I hail from, where they're right now in the heart of contract negotiations, and they're just like, oh, they want Senate Bill 5 to pass, and so they can, build it into their new contracts. And so the longer this goes on, the harder it is. But I'm optimistic that it'll pass. I believe it'll pass the referendum too, which we all know is coming. But I think this is about worker performance. It's a good thing for taxpayers. It's a good bill.